Tom Cruise is the stunt king, Russell Crowe is all about intensity, but when these two powerhouses clashed on set, it wasn't pretty. From heated arguments to years of icy tension, Hollywood worked hard to bury the drama. Now, Russell Crowe is breaking his silence, and his take on working with Cruise will shock you. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise didn't just step into stardom with Top Gun in 1986, he soared. Playing the fearless pilot, Pete Maverick Mitchell, he became the poster boy for cool confidence, raking in $357 million on a $15 million budget. Fans couldn't get enough of his charm, and apparently neither could Ray-Ban, as sales of aviator sunglasses skyrocketed by 40% after the film's release. In 1996, Cruise kicked off a whole new chapter of action stardom with Mission Impossible, a franchise that would span nearly 3 decades and redefine his career. Over 7 films that have collectively earned more than $3.5 billion globally, Cruise not only starred but produced, ensuring that real-life stunts, not CGI, stole the show. Need proof? For Dead Reckoning, Part 1, he spent 6 months training and completed over 500 practice jumps just to ride a motorcycle off a cliff and base jump into a ravine. In Rogue Nation, he held his breath underwater for 6 minutes, and in Fallout, he nailed a high-altitude military skydive from 25,000 feet. These stunts aren't just action-packed, they're a testament to Cruise's relentless dedication to giving audiences heart-stopping thrills. But Cruise isn't just the king of action. His dramatic roles have earned him just as much acclaim. In Jerry Maguire, he nailed the emotional roller coaster of a sports agent trying to balance love and career, earning a Golden Globe, an Oscar nomination, and $273 million at the box office. In A Few Good Men, he went toe-to-toe with Jack Nicholson, delivering a courtroom performance that's still quoted today. Beyond critical success, Cruise has dominated the box office like no other. Over 30 of his films have surpassed $100 million each, and his career earnings top $10 billion globally. Decades in, he's still breaking records and redefining what it means to be a Hollywood icon. Take a moment to relax, grab a snack or drink, and dive into this fascinating journey with us. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe didn't just step onto the scene, he roared in. His big break came in 1992 with Romper Stomper, where he played Hando, a terrifying neo-Nazi whose intensity had critics comparing him to Malcolm McDowell in A Clockwork Orange. The performance didn't just win him a Best Actor award in Australia, it put him on Hollywood's radar. Then, in 1994, Crowe flipped the script, playing Jeff Mitchell, a kind and caring gay plumber in The Sum of Us. The contrast was striking, showing his softer, more emotional side and cementing his reputation as an actor with incredible range. Hollywood took notice, and from 1999 to 2001, Crowe was unstoppable. He racked up 3 consecutive Oscar nominations for The Insider, Gladiator, and A Beautiful Mind. His portrayal of Maximus in Gladiator didn't just win him an Academy Award, it made him a global superstar. The film earned over $465 million and took home 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. Crowe followed that with A Beautiful Mind, where he played troubled mathematician John Nash, earning a Golden Globe, a BAFTA, and a place in history by starring in 2 back-to-back Best Picture winners. His transformation for The Insider, where he gained 35 pounds and aged himself into a whistleblower, proved he was willing to go all in for his craft. But Crowe isn't just about acting. In 2014, he stepped behind the camera to direct The Water Diviner, a historical drama that won awards and critical acclaim in Australia. He's also a lifelong musician, fronting bands like 30-Odd Foot of Grunts and Indoor Garden Party. In 2024, his current band, The Gentlemen Barbers, wowed audiences in Leeds with covers of Nick Cave and Leonard Cohen. Music has always been a core part of Crowe's identity, He even busked on the streets as a kid and released a single, "I Just Wanna Be Like Marlon Brando." First meeting? In the summer of 1992, Russell Crowe found himself at a low-key barbecue in Sydney, hosted by Naomi Watts. A seemingly ordinary gathering that turned extraordinary. Crowe, then an up-and-coming star in Australian cinema, was introduced to none other than Tom Cruise, already a global superstar and husband to Nicole Kidman. The introduction wasn't random. Kidman, an admirer of Crowe's work in films like Proof and Spotswood, had already been singing his praises to Cruise, even screening some of his movies for him beforehand. When Kidman personally brought Cruise over to meet Crowe, it was clear she saw potential chemistry. What began as polite small talk morphed into an hours-long conversation. Cruise surprised Crowe by not only having seen his films, but asking thoughtful questions about his acting process and the unique challenges of Australian cinema. For Crowe, this surreal moment felt like validation from one of Hollywood's biggest stars. It was more than just a meeting. It was the start of mutual respect between two actors from different worlds. Years later, Crowe shared a particularly memorable anecdote about Cruise while promoting his film The Water Diviner. He recalled a conversation about Scientology, sparked by Crowe's curiosity after spotting a $250 video on the subject in a rental store. Having watched it out of interest and perhaps as a goodwill gesture toward Kidman, Crowe casually brought it up with Cruise. To his surprise, Cruise handled the topic with a relaxed and respectful attitude, even offering a simple yet profound line that stuck with Crowe. "If it's important to you, man, you'll do something about it." That unassuming response left Crowe with an impression of Cruise as not just a megastar, but a grounded and genuinely cool guy. Betray. In 2001, the world watched as Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman ended their 10-year marriage in a headline-dominating divorce that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. For Russell Crowe, the breakup wasn't just tabloid fodder. It put him in an impossible position. Crowe had been friends with both Cruise and Kidman for nearly a decade, and their split forced him to navigate a tricky dilemma. Ultimately, Crowe decided to stand by Nicole, a choice that would have lasting repercussions. The fallout started almost immediately. Cruise's team reportedly reached out to Crowe, urging him to put some distance between himself and Kidman. Crowe, however, wasn't one to bow to pressure. He refused to play along and, in his trademark blunt fashion, told them to back off. For Crowe, this wasn't just about taking sides. It was about loyalty and family. He'd grown close to Nicole and her loved ones over the years, and in the wake of her public heartbreak, he felt a strong sense of protectiveness. But his decision to stand by her came at a cost, a rift with Cruise that never fully healed. Matters got worse when Crowe, in an attempt to lighten the tension, cracked a joke about being part of Nicole's settlement package after the divorce. Meant to be playful and tongue-in-cheek, the comment was interpreted very differently. While Crowe later explained it was a harmless quip, born out of affection for both parties, it only served to widen the gap between him and Cruise. The joke reinforced what many already suspected. Crowe had firmly chosen Team Nicole. What had once been a solid friendship rooted in mutual respect and admiration now hung by a thread, strained by miscommunication, hurt feelings, and the ever-present weight of Hollywood's unforgiving spotlight. Tension on set. By 2017, when Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe teamed up for The Mummy, the lingering tension between them was impossible to ignore. Despite this being their first time acting together, the relationship was anything but friendly. Their on-screen showdown, a brutal fight between their characters, became an ironic reflection of their off-camera dynamic. Filming the scene took 4 grueling days, during which both actors, well into their 50s, insisted on doing their own stunts. The result? Walls, tables, and glass were utterly destroyed, along with any remaining patience among the production crew, who nervously watched as the two stars smashed each other around the set. Neither man would back down, physically or otherwise. Behind the scenes, old grudges and clashing work styles only deepened the divide. Crowe, who valued depth and character-driven storytelling, found himself at odds with Cruise's preference for fast-paced, high-octane action. Cruise, who held significant control over the production thanks to his contract, had final say over everything from script approvals to editing decisions. He even brought in his own writers to rewrite the movie, shifting its focus more toward his character, which didn't sit well with Crowe. The disagreements became so frequent that crew members reportedly started documenting them, as the set became a battleground split between Team Cruise and Team Crowe. Adding fuel to the fire was the emotional baggage that came with their shared history. Crowe, having been close to Nicole Kidman for years, couldn't fully detach from the past. Working with Cruise stirred up old emotions, and Crowe later admitted in interviews that the situation wasn't easy. "Any ending to a relationship like that is heavy, man," he reflected. It must have been hard for both of them. Despite their professional collaboration, the unresolved tension between Crowe and Cruise hung over the production like a dark cloud. Their relationship, marked by early admiration, strained loyalty, and lingering bitterness, remains one of Hollywood's most unique and complicated dynamics. And for Cruise, The Mummy was just another chapter in a career full of strange, headline-making cases. Debate over depression. In 2005, a heated public spat erupted between Tom Cruise and Brooke Shields over postpartum depression, sparking widespread debate. It began when Shields published her memoir, Down Came the Rain, detailing her struggles after her daughter Rowan's birth. Shields opened up about her experience with postpartum depression and how the antidepressant Paxil helped her recover. Cruise, however, wasn't on board. During a notorious interview on The Today Show with Matt Lauer, Cruise criticized Shields, calling her use of antidepressants irresponsible and claiming they didn't work. He suggested vitamins and exercise as alternatives and even took a swipe at Shields' career, asking, "Where has her career gone?" His comments ignited backlash, particularly from women who had faced similar challenges. Shields didn't hold back. In a pointed New York Times article, she clapped back at Cruise, advising him to stick to saving the world from aliens and leave medical decisions to the women experiencing postpartum depression. Her sharp retort, paired with a dose of humor, highlighted the seriousness of the issue and resonated with many. A year later, Cruise surprised everyone by showing up at Shields' house to apologize in person. While his views on antidepressants didn't change, he expressed regret for his hurtful comments. Shields accepted the apology, and the two buried the hatchet. The unexpected reconciliation even led to Shields attending Cruise's star-studded wedding to Katie Holmes in Italy, a twist no one saw coming. If you found this video engaging, drop a 1 in the comments, and if not, let us know with a 0. Your feedback helps us grow. Newton's Nightmare Night. In 2000, while filming Mission Impossible 2, Thandau Newton found herself in one of the most challenging nights of her career. In a 2020 interview, she described a grueling night shoot in Spain that spiraled into chaos. The scene, a heated argument between her character and Tom Cruise's, was already tricky to execute. Adding to the stress, director John Woo didn't speak English on set, leaving the actors to fend for themselves with minimal guidance. As tension built, Cruise became increasingly unhappy with Newton's performance. In an unconventional attempt to fix the scene, Cruise suggested they switch roles. Newton would play his character, and he'd play hers. What might have been a creative solution only made things worse for Newton, who felt humiliated and insecure, as though she was failing at every turn. To make matters worse, the stress of the night seemed to manifest physically. Newton noticed a small red mark on Cruise's nose at the start of filming, which by the end had turned into a glaring whitehead. To her, it was a surreal symbol of her growing anxiety. The night left Newton feeling defeated. She later confided in director Jonathan Demme, blaming herself for the debacle, but the ordeal wasn't over. Cruise called her afterward, not to apologize, but to inform her they'd be reshooting the scene. During the reshoot, Newton delivered the alpha performance Cruise wanted, but she walked away from the experience questioning whether this high-pressure approach was the right way to inspire great acting. For Newton, the night became a cautionary tale about the toll creative clashes can take on even the most seasoned performers. Rourke slams Cruise. In July 2022, Mickey Rourke made headlines when he appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored and delivered a scathing critique of Tom Cruise that left Hollywood buzzing. At the time, Cruise was riding high on the massive success of Top Gun: Maverick, which had just crossed the $1 billion mark at the box office. But Rourke wasn't impressed. Instead of celebrating Cruise's milestone, he dismissed it entirely, calling Cruise irrelevant and arguing that his 35-year career lacked depth and artistic value. For Rourke, being a great actor isn't about box office numbers or blockbuster hits, it's about taking risks and fully transforming into your characters. He criticized Cruise for sticking to the same type of roles and failing to push the boundaries of his craft. Rourke's blunt comments sparked a heated debate, with some defending Cruise's iconic status and others agreeing that his career, though successful, has often played it safe. Cruise versus Lauer. On June 24, 2005, Tom Cruise and Matt Lauer faced off in one of the most intense interviews in Today Show history. What started as a promotional segment for War of the Worlds quickly devolved into a heated debate about mental health and Scientology. The tipping point? Brooke Shields' public support for antidepressants after her struggle with postpartum depression. As a devoted Scientologist, Cruise dismissed psychiatry as pseudoscience and claimed antidepressants weren't valid treatments, even denying the existence of chemical imbalances. When Lauer questioned his views, Cruise became visibly agitated, accusing Lauer of not knowing the facts and calling Shields' choices harmful. The fiery exchange became one of the most talked-about TV moments of the year, cementing Cruise's reputation as an outspoken advocate for Scientology. Shields later defended herself in a New York Times op-ed, standing by her decisions and challenging Cruise's claims, further fueling the public debate. Years later, former Scientologist Leah Remini added fuel to the fire. In 2020, after a viral audio clip of Cruise scolding crew members on the mission, impossible set surfaced. Remini called it performative, claiming that Scientologists don't believe in pandemics and that the rant was staged for PR. She also shared troubling stories about Cruise's temper, including one incident where he allegedly lost his cool over cookie ingredients, leading 5 staffers to quit. According to Remini, Cruise's behavior is heavily influenced by Scientology leader David Miscavige, whom she blamed for shaping Cruise into what she described as an abusive dictator. Cruise versus Travolta. Tom Cruise and John Travolta, two of Scientology's biggest stars, have reportedly been locked in a quiet rivalry for years. Despite their shared devotion to the church, tensions have simmered beneath the surface, fueled by competition for favor under Scientology leader David Miscavige. The rivalry reached a boiling point in 2008 when Cruise was awarded Scientology's highest honor, the Freedom Medal of Valor. For Travolta, who had long been celebrated as one of the church's most loyal members, this was a bitter blow. Furious over what he saw as a snub, Travolta even skipped Cruise's star-studded wedding to Katie Holmes, a significant move in their tight-knit circle. Insiders claim that Cruise receives preferential treatment, including lavish gifts and direct access to Miscavige, privileges Travolta reportedly does not enjoy. The tension escalated to the point where Travolta allegedly dictated a letter demanding answers about why Cruise was given the prestigious award. Though Scientology representatives have denied any animosity, the rivalry between these two Hollywood heavyweights continues to be a topic of fascination, with their contrasting statuses within the church adding fuel to the fire. Cruise's divorce drama. In February 2001, Tom Cruise stunned Nicole Kidman and the world by filing for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The news blindsided Kidman, leaving her heartbroken at a time when her acting career was reaching its peak. Just 2 years later, she won an Oscar for her role in The Hours, but the victory felt bittersweet. Her personal life was in shambles, and the moment of triumph seemed hollow. That night, after attending the Vanity Fair party with the coveted statue in hand, Kidman left early. Instead of celebrating, she returned to her hotel, sat on the floor with her family, and ate takeout. In that quiet moment, holding an award everyone dreams of, she realized what she truly longed for. "I need to find love," she thought. "I need love in my life." The divorce wasn't just an emotional rupture. It came with complications tied to Cruise's devotion to Scientology. After the split, Kidman was reportedly labeled a suppressive person by the church, a designation that made it difficult for her to maintain close relationships with the 2 children she and Cruise had adopted. The fallout was profound, creating barriers between her and her family. Tensions resurfaced in 2005 during a TV interview when a reporter dared to ask Cruise if Kidman was the love of his life. His reaction was sharp and immediate. "You're stepping over the line now," he warned. "Put your manners back in." The moment was a striking display of the unresolved emotions and guarded nature surrounding their high-profile split. Moving on fast. Despite the heartbreak, both Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman eventually found new beginnings. Kidman discovered love with country singer Keith Urban, who won her over with a surprise bouquet of gardenias on her birthday. 6 months into their romance, she knew he was the one. The couple tied the knot in a 2006 ceremony in Australia, marking a fresh start for Kidman after her painful split. Cruise, on the other hand, married Katie Holmes, but their love story took a far different turn. By 2012, the marriage was over in record time. Their divorce was finalized in just 2 weeks, shocking even Hollywood insiders. Typically, high-profile divorces involving immense wealth and property drag on for months, if not years. Not this one. Holmes had meticulously planned her exit, using disposable phones to secretly contact lawyers and ensure her escape was smooth and discreet. Holmes also made headlines with her financial choices. Instead of seeking spousal support, she focused on securing her daughter Suri's future. Cruise agreed to pay $400,000 annually in child support until Suri turned 18, along with covering her health care and education expenses. A trust fund was also established for Suri, granting her limited access at 18 and full access in her 30s. Meanwhile, Holmes retained the couple's $35 million Beverly Hills mansion and her prized jewelry collection. With careful strategy, she walked away with security and independence, proving she knew exactly what she wanted for herself and her daughter. Holmes' custody win. The most shocking twist in Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise's high-speed divorce was the custody arrangement. Holmes secured full physical custody of their daughter Suri, a rare outcome in celebrity divorces, where joint custody is typically the norm. This gave Holmes complete control over Suri's daily life, including decisions about her education and, notably, her religion. For Holmes, this was a critical victory. Her legal strategy was calculated and effective. By filing for divorce in New York, a state more inclined to grant full custody to one parent, she strengthened her case. Cruise, meanwhile, was left with visitation rights. a stark contrast to the shared arrangements many expected. Holmes's careful planning not only ensured Surrey's future stability, but also showcased her determination to protect her daughter's well-being. It was a bold and savvy move that worked entirely in Holmes's favor, marking a defining moment in one of Hollywood's most tightly managed divorces. Thank you for sticking with us through this story. Leave a 2 in the comments if you're still here exploring with us. The Special Project. Nazanin Boniadi's life took a bizarre and disturbing turn when the Church of Scientology selected her for a secretive special project. Initially unaware of its true purpose, Boniadi complied with instructions to transform her appearance, removing her braces, changing her hairstyle, and even breaking up with her long-term boyfriend. Soon, the unsettling truth emerged. She had been handpicked to be Tom Cruise's girlfriend. What seemed like a dream opportunity quickly became a nightmare. Boniadi was flown to New York and placed under constant supervision by Scientology handlers. She was never alone with Cruise, and her every move was monitored. Even her appearance wasn't up to his standards. Cruise reportedly insisted she file down her teeth to improve her looks. Worse, she was subjected to hours of auditing sessions to cleanse her mind of negative thoughts about him. The Church's control over her life was suffocating, and even minor mistakes were met with severe consequences. In one instance, she used the phrase "very well done" while speaking to Cruise, which was interpreted as condescending. Her punishment? Exhausting and grueling auditing sessions. Another social misstep in front of Scientology leader David Miscavige only amplified the pressure. By January 2005, the relationship ended abruptly, leaving Boniadi heartbroken and confused. When she confided in a friend, instead of finding solace, she faced harsh retribution. Scientology subjected her to humiliating punishments, scrubbing toilets with a toothbrush, cleaning tiles with acid, digging ditches late at night, and being berated as a horrible person. She was even forced to sell Scientology books on the streets. This harrowing experience became a turning point for Boniadi. She eventually left the church, distancing herself from its practices and control. Years later, she shared her story with the FBI, exposing the disturbing extent of the church's influence over her life and her relationship with Cruise. Unstoppable ambition. Tom Cruise's journey to becoming one of Hollywood's most enduring icons is a masterclass in ambition and discipline. For over 3 decades, he has not only maintained his star power, but continually reinvented himself to stay relevant in an ever-changing industry. His work ethic is the stuff of legend. Known for pushing himself to the brink, Cruise insists on performing his own stunts. Whether it's hanging off the side of a plane in Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, or riding a motorcycle off a cliff in Dead Reckoning Part 1. Behind the scenes, he's just as meticulous, spending months training for even the smallest moments to ensure everything looks authentic. What sets Cruise apart is his ability to adapt. In the 1980s, he was the golden boy of romantic dramas and coming-of-age films like Top Gun and Risky Business. By the mid-1990s, he pivoted to dramatic roles in Jerry Maguire and Magnolia, showcasing his range. Then came the Mission Impossible franchise, cementing his status as a global action star. Despite the challenges of age and shifting audience tastes, Cruise continues to defy expectations, as seen in the massive success of Top Gun: Maverick, which reignited his status as a box office powerhouse. Cruise also excels at connecting with audiences. His globe-trotting promotional tours are legendary, offering fans the chance to meet the star in person. For Top Gun: Maverick, he traveled the world, attending premieres and speaking directly to fans, demonstrating that his charisma extends far beyond the screen. It's this blend of talent, hard work, and audience engagement that keeps Cruise at the top of Hollywood, proving that ambition, when paired with relentless drive, is truly unstoppable. The fallout effect. Behind Tom Cruise's glitzy Hollywood image lies a trail of controversies and fractured relationships that have shaped his career and public persona. His association with Scientology has often put him at odds with both industry peers and the general public. Stories of strained friendships, like his rivalry with John Travolta or his fallout with Nicole Kidman, have created an image of Cruise as a polarizing figure, admired for his talent but questioned for his personal choices. Cruise's reputation as a perfectionist and his sometimes explosive temperament have made headlines, with anecdotes from sets painting a picture of both brilliance and intensity. Whether it's clashing with directors like Thandie Way Newton's experience on Mission Impossible 2 or his infamous Today Show interview with Matt Lauer, Cruise's strong convictions and high expectations have often led to tension. Yet, despite the drama, his career remains largely unscathed. What's remarkable is Cruise's ability to weather these storms. While many stars would see their careers falter under such scrutiny, Cruise has proven resilient. Even as critics dissect his public outbursts or connections to Scientology, audiences flock to see his films. His work consistently dominates the box office, and his performances continue to earn praise. Cruise's story is a testament to the power of sheer talent and determination to rise above the fallout, no matter how intense it may seem. Let me know what you think after watching this video in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.